took a shower, so I didn't have time to do it. I got to do my hair. I still have that in my
I
life.
I don't have that problem, as you can
It
see.
looks okay. You don't. It looks okay right now, but as it goes on and dries, it'll start getting very not okay. So we'll just hat it up for now, and
Hat
then
going with the hat.
I'm just
I
glad I
live
had
the hat
pants on
lifestyle.
for this live stream, John. That's
It's a head
that's a
on.
win.
It's a head on kind of live stream. All right. Well, if you guys can see us and hear us, just leave us a comment. Let us know that you hear us yammering on about our hats, which has nothing to do with martial arts. But we're here to talk to you about some good stuff. So I'm excited. We do this every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So if you can see us and you can hear us, say something in the chat, hit the heart button, hit the like button, let us know. This is John and Travis here coming at you live. If you're live with us right now, live, 2 p.m. Eastern, type the word live. Or if you're watching the replay, go ahead and type the word replay. That way we know that you're on and we see your name pop up and you can say hi to us. And we like to get in and interact with these. We love interaction on these live streams. So definitely feel free to leave a comment and hit the like button. Let us know that you're here. Plus, it helps us to know if our technology is working. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes here. It just helps us know for sure that you can see us and hear us. So it's great. Today, we're going to be talking about a really cool subject. This is my favorite sort of subject to talk about. But if you failed at enrolling students consistently, first of all, I'd like you to know that it's not your fault. You're a martial arts school owner. You got into this because you love martial arts, you love teaching, you're passionate about that. Getting students is a totally different thing. And so we're here to help you with that. If you've been concerned in the past that you can't really get new people on the mats, or maybe you feel like your school has sort of hit a plateau and that's just as much as the community can provide for you, we're going to put those fears to rest today. And I know that there's a ton of gurus and experts and marketing agencies that want you to think that they're the answer and you need them to fill your mats. And without them, you can't break through those growth barriers. But that is 100% not true. In fact, we've seen it happen over 405 times already. So we know for a fact it's not true. And you can attract the right students. You can get paid a premium for quality instruction. You can break through growth barriers. You can leave a legacy. And it's really just following a few easy steps. And we're going to share with you on this live stream today. Basically, we're going to be talking about a really simple strategy of how to market your school for almost free. We say almost, it's actually for a profit, but that's a little clickbaity. So almost free is the least spammy I could get on that title. What do you think about that, Travis?
I think I appreciate that you're not trying to be spammy. I also think, John, when you always, we hey, if you made mistakes in the past or things didn't work, it's not your fault. When you say that, it makes me think of the movie Good Will Hunting
Oh,
and
really?
Robin Williams counseling Matt Damon about his abuse that he faced as a child. And he was like, hey, it's not your fault. And he just keeps repeating, it's not your fault. Hey, guys, it's not your fault that you've been abused by a bunch of bad marketing strategies in the past. So I'm excited today to talk about something that won't abuse you, that'll actually help your school grow, especially in times right now where we're concerned about growth, we're concerned about where our school is going. And when we've done so many things that haven't worked, that concern gets magnified because it's like, well, it wasn't really working before and I really need it to work now because of things that are going on society wise, economically, things like that. And it's like, hey, let's just put all that stuff that didn't work aside. Let's put it in the drawer, lock the drawer, put some gasoline on that drawer, and let's try to find something new here today. That's going to be simple and work for you guys.
Yeah, love it. Love it. And really, we're going to be talking about clarity. We're going to be helping you figure out really what does it take. We're going to give you the steps. And, you might be wondering, maybe you're new to the group and you're like, who are these guys to tell me how to do this? Well, we've helped over 405 schools enroll over 21,465 paying students collectively. And we're doing it by breaking all the rules. We're not doing what most of the gurus are talking. We're not doing what most of the agencies out there are doing. We're doing this in a very simple, straightforward, concise way that any school owner can do. You got a small school, big school, been around for years, just starting out. We're here to show you how to do it. And our mission, really, and our vision is to build an army of really high quality, successful martial arts schools who are great at what they do and who are known in the community. And we want to help school owners get off that hamster wheel. We know what it's like. I mean, I've been there, I've seen it firsthand, trying the boosted post, trying to rely on the website, begging students to bring a friend all the time, relentlessly posting on every social media platform there is, or maybe even like old school where you're doing print ads or door hangers or yellow pages, in-house promotion, all that stuff. We know that stuff doesn't work. We know it's a big waste of money and time. And maybe some of that stuff gets students in the door, maybe it doesn't, but it's really inconsistent. And there's just such an easier way to do it. And we see it all the time. Within a couple of months, a school owner will join our program. They'll learn the strategy, and then they're getting people in the door. They're making a few extra $1,000 a month from student tuitions, and their whole mindset changes, and everything changes just because of that one simple shift. And so it looks like we got some good action in the comments already here, Travis. We got some people on already.
Yeah.
So why don't we dive into it?
Let's dive in. Who's ready? Go ahead and type. We got so many people on here right now. Go ahead and type ready if you're ready to really expand your mind and see what's really possible for your school. So go ahead and comment ready, and we're going to dive right in. I guess the first thing we can talk about is really how we can run an ad for a free week of karate and really elaborate on keeping that offer and really dive into what it looks like to keep that offer going on 365 days a year. I've talked to so many school owners that like they either join our coaching program and they want to implement their own process and like, all right, well, how many ads do I need to run? How do you have all the creative stuff for all the different seasons? We're so used to like having to have like a file folder for every month of the year, right? We don't need to do that. If you want to do that, that's great. If your passion is in that, that's awesome, but you don't have to. You can have something going 365 days a year, and we can just kind of watch that ad that's running year long and we just watch it daily and make a couple changes. Really spend. This is something agencies don't want you to know. I know when we were an agency, it's not that we didn't want people to know, but we also weren't like advertising that it only takes about 5 minutes a day to maintain an ad account. If you know what 3 things to look for and 3 things to adjust to make that ad work long term. And I really want to dig into how we can have a system, because it is about a system. If it was just about an offer or an ad, one person would be selling that ad for $20. They'd be selling to every school owner in the world, and they'd be making buku bucks. Your schools would be full. There needs to be a system, just like a belt test isn't like just train me what I need to do to pass the belt test. There's a whole foundational system built around those skills that allow your students to be successful. And that's the same thing. There's a simple system built around your marketing strategy that's going to allow the school to get new students in the door monthly, weekly, daily, 365 days a year doing one thing. So I'm excited to break those things down with you guys today.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the things that a lot of school owners are doing backwards is sticking to the old way of doing things just because that's the old fashioned way and that's how we always did. And that's it just doesn't work anymore. You know, the boosted post, the relying on a website or the bring a friend all the time, or even hiring an agency, or maybe 5 different agencies in a year, every 3 months, going through a new agency, posting on social media all the time, trying to get on the new platform, seeing what the kids are on now, or even, you know, all the old school stuff, going to the events, marching in parades, all that stuff. I mean, there's just such a much better way. And really, you know, the ad is important. There's also the process, like you talked about, which is upgrading to a paid trial on day one, making sure that they understand they have an option to pay you money the minute they walk through your door, or very close to that. And then, of course, as you talked about, that process we call the flywheel, and show you how to adjust all that stuff. So super excited to get into this. And, you know, it'll be basically, we're going to show you how to run the ad, how to set up the follow-up and get them to sign up on that first day, and then the flywheel to keep that machine running.
Right. And this all works together in a system. A lot of school owners have a couple of these things in place and are really just missing 1 or 2. And I really want to shine some light on the things that are missing so it can really take off. You know, I would imagine, and feel free to comment this in the comments, if you got 10 people in the door, how many of them would you be able to enroll as a student? Go ahead and comment in the comments. Out of 10, how many would you be able to enroll in the student if people came in the door? I would imagine most of the comments as they start to come in are going to be the high 7s, 8s, 9s, right? We have this idea of when people come in, we get them enrolled, which is great. But can you enroll people that aren't necessarily sure? They haven't made that decision to come in the door. Can you enroll people that we need to kind of warm up and get them enrolled? That's how we really take things off and have a system in place where we can get students enrolled on the first day 99% of the time, whether they're excited about martial arts or they've never heard about martial arts. So I really want to dive into these little types of pieces that can really increase your lead flow. But also with that lead flow, a lot of you guys may have experienced, you get leads, but we call them like garbage leads, or these leads aren't any good. Well, no, there's a way to take those garbage leads, which I don't like that term at all, because it is a person that we're talking about. But there is a way to take kind of the weaker leads and allow them to experience what you're doing, but you also to get cash flow positive. So I just want to shine some light into some of those things. And as we go through this, if you have questions, go ahead and type them in so we can get them clarified for you, because there's really a way to take them. If a lead comes in the door, whether they're a qualified lead or not, there is a way to have them experience what you have to offer, get them enrolled as a paying student, and then let them be part of your school long term. So go ahead and as we go through this, if you have questions, type them in the comments. But let's dive right into these things, these deeper things going to help you kind of shine the light on what we can do to improve the growth of the school.
Love it. Yep. Getting some comments already. Dave said 2. Aaron said 4. Awesome. Awesome. Love to see the interaction in the comments. If you would, before we jump into this deeper, I would love to know what your biggest struggle is when it comes to maybe running ads or just getting leads or getting students on the mats. Let us know what the big struggle is. What do you think is the biggest obstacle holding you back from getting students on the mats consistently, bringing in new, fresh leads that are warm? Every time you say weak leads, it makes me think of Glenn Ross now. The leads are weak.
Give me the leads. Give me the lead. I just need more leads.
Just need more leads.
Give me the good leads. Give me
the good ones. The good ones. The good ones. So yeah, maybe you got leads coming in and you do believe that they're weak. Maybe you've having trouble just getting leads in general. Maybe your leads are coming in, but nobody's showing up for appointments. Maybe, okay, where to run the ads. Dave wants to know. Great. I love it. So, and maybe it's something else. Maybe you're just like looking at this and you're like, you know what? I got this stuff figured out. I need help over here. I'm very curious. So if you would just go into the comments right now and let us know what the biggest obstacle is to filling up those mats, and maybe what you're doing right now. What are you trying? What kind of things are going on in your school that you're using to bring students in and get kids on the mats or adults on the mats, men, women, children, whatever your target market is? What's your strategy? How are you getting them in the door? And while you guys are answering that, we can jump into maybe some false beliefs. Why don't we cover that first, Travis? Like, what is the mainstream saying that, and what are the marketing agencies out there trying to get you to do? Or maybe what are some of the school owners? I mean, we interview thousands of school owners
Right.
on a yearly basis. And what are they saying when you get them on the phone most of the time?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of school owners that I talked to, they've tried running ads before. They hired someone else to run ads for them. And it either worked kind of a little bit or it didn't work at all, or it worked temporarily. It's either so it kind of was okay, but it wasn't like, wow, this is really helping the school grow, or it doesn't work at all, or it was just kind of a flash in the pan kind of thing. And they unfortunately had to spend a ton of money to learn all three of those things. And really, the truth is, there's a specific formula. And Dave, to your question of where to run ads, there's a specific formula for running Facebook ads for martial arts. And that is the cheapest, quickest way to grow your school. There's other platforms that are good and there's some that are terrible, but Facebook is definitely the cheapest and fastest way to grow your school. But there's a specific way to do it. We can't just throw up a post or click boost or have some person that runs ads for all kinds of different things to run ads for your school, or a buddy runs Facebook ads for their restaurant, so he can do ads for you, or you have a friend or one of your students is really good on Instagram, so they're going to run your Facebook ads or something like that. That's just not going to work. It's not going to magically convert your school into an enrollment machine. There's really a better way, a much better way. The first thing to do, and Aaron, you kind of mentioned, you can't advertise in schools. That's a difficult thing too. That's honestly probably gone with everything that happened with COVID. Schools are really protective about that. And the nice thing about this, Aaron, is running Facebook ads. You actually don't need a degree in marketing. It makes it so simple if you know the different puzzle pieces. If I say, hey, here's a puzzle piece and here's where to put it, you're going to be able to solve that puzzle pretty quickly. If I numbered the pieces and said, here's where they go, right? Now, if I just gave you a puzzle, it's going to take you some time. So if you have someone telling you, hey, this piece goes here, this piece goes there, you're going to solve the puzzle. It's not that difficult. So here's part of the puzzle. Use a proven offer. What we found is the free week with a proven upgrade plan. So we offer a free week, and then we have what we call the paid trial playbook to take someone from coming into a free week to becoming a paying student on the first day. It's not a bait and switch situation. It's you have another offer available for them that they're going to say, that's a better offer. 99% of people are going to tell you, I think that's a better offer. And then what we need to do is just really understand who our target audience is, what message they need, and then how do we get that message to them? So who do we need to get the message to? What is the message? And then when they come in, how do we get them to become paying students on the first day? And that's really it. That's all we need to figure out. We don't need to figure out anything else outside of that. So do you want me to keep diving into that, John? Or
yeah, I mean, I think it's important. Like I saying all the stuff that you just said brings to mind what some school owners would think. And they might think, well, I don't have time to be coming up with new ads all the time or changing things for every holiday or event, you know. And the truth is, as you mentioned earlier, we run the same ad 24/7, 365 all day, all year, every single day. It's a free week of karate. And it gets more leads than any other kind of ad we've ever tried. And we've tried pretty much every kind of offer you can imagine. We've tried the 4 weeks for 49, 6 weeks for 67. Come in for a free week. Come in for 2 free weeks. Come in for a free intro. Come in for a free month. Come in for a Nerf party. Come in for a birthday party. Come in for a parents' night out. I mean, ninja nights. We've tried every possible scenario. The one that stays consistent all year, requires almost no input, and always generates leads is a free week of karate. And if you don't teach karate, fine, a free week of jujitsu or a free week of whatever. We say the word karate because not because we think it's the same as every other art, but because most people who've never done martial arts can relate to karate as a one-word synonym for martial arts. I already know you can leave the trolling comments for somewhere else. I know karate is not the same as martial arts. We use that word because the marketplace understands what that word means. If you can't come to terms with that, or if you're just like totally something different, like jujitsu, you can say jujitsu in the ad, it will work just fine. The point is a free week of martial arts. That's the offer. And you know, the thing to remember is we've done this in 405 different martial arts schools and counting to enroll over 21,465 paying students collectively. So this is not just like some kind of random idea that we just popped up with. This is after tons of testing, tons of iterations, and it's just become so clear of what makes it super successful and what really makes it harder. And the offer is so important. And you know, the other part of it too is there's so much around the process, right? So maybe we can dive into a little bit of that. I don't know. What do you think about that, Travis? Should we get into some of like the process itself as far as the ads go, or maybe we have some other questions? I've been trying to watch the comments over here on my screen.
I think we're pretty clear on a lot of the questions. Aaron was talking about, you know, the difficulties in getting into groups with schools and things like that. We can eliminate having to go through those hoops. We can actually, with this process, we can actually get the attention of individuals in the community and directly target their personal profiles. We don't have to go into groups or get approval from groups or anything like that. We can actually go right to the people directly with really a lot of simplicity. And a lot of school owners, the fact that we've done this for over 405, I love the specific numbers today, John, over 405 schools. You guys are in the martial arts community. There's not that many school owners that are tech savvy. There's not that many school owners that have a huge staff. Lately, I've talked to a lot of school owners because we're so busy right now, especially with the holidays and doing all these things that we've mentioned that we're doing. And the worry is, well, I just don't have enough time to add something else to my plate. This sounds like it's a lot. And it's actually no. First of all, if we've done it for 405 schools, most of you guys know the school owners that you know, they're the only ones running the show. There's not a lot of schools with big staffs and things like that. So this process is actually designed with the idea that there's one person running the school. And we've held, of those 405 schools, a majority of them, and I would almost say all of them, I'm not saying all because we haven't talked to all of them about this specific topic, but a majority of them have told us, hey, my school is bigger than it's ever been, and I have more time than I've ever had, right? Because it's all
Yeah.
about a system and a process. So I think we should dive into that system and process, John, so people can kind of peek behind the curtain as to what makes my school busier and gives me more time.
Yeah, really. I mean, it really comes down to being able to understand that flywheel. So I'm kind of jumping ahead as far as our initial topics, but really it's having the ability to put $1 into an ad and get $2 out. And most of our school owners are actually putting $1 in and getting between $5 to $10 out. So if they spend $100 on ads, they can pretty much count on $500 to $1,000 coming back out of that really quickly. And within that first, 45 days or 30 to 45 days, you're seeing that money come in. In fact, I was just on we have a Q&A call that we do for our clients that are in our student magnet program and in our legacy masters program at noon on Mondays. And one of them came in, he just started his ads on Thursday, and he was concerned and worried because today's Monday. So it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So in 4 days, all of his calendar spots were full. He didn't have any availability for the next 2 weeks. And he had put a limit on how far out people could book. And he's like, I don't know how to let people book because I'm full. My calendar is totally full in 4 days of running an ad. And so when you have that his biggest worry now was, how do I open up more space on my calendar?
Right.
So, I mean, that's the kind of worries that we should have as a school owner, right? But having that ability to know if I put $1 into my ads, I'm going to get $5 to $10 out. That's really where things start to change, because it changes, what you can count on. It changes your future, really, and it stacks the odds in your favor. If you know you can put $1 in and get 5 out, even if everything goes wrong, you at least get your dollar back out, right? I mean, you're basically mitigating almost all the risk. That's why we say how to market your school for almost free, because you have to put a little money in to get a little money out, right? Jim Rohn says you got to put a little wood in the fireplace to get some heat out. You can't stand in front of the fireplace and say, give me some heat, and then I'll put some wood in, right? You got to put a little in to get a little bit out. And so running the ad on Facebook, it's a simple ad. It's for a free week of karate. Once they come in for that free week, you get them on the mats. And should we get into that process? What do you think? Should we get into the actual, like, what happens on day one?
Yeah, I think especially I love the transparency in this group. I was expecting everybody to say they booked 10 they closed 10 out of 10, and some guys were like, "Hey, I'll do 2, I'll do," which I love that. I love the transparency of like, "Hey, no, I don't close everybody." So this is probably going to be a very helpful tool for them, John. So I think normally we don't dive too deep into this, but I think for this crew especially, it'll be very valuable when someone comes in the door from a paid ad. How do we get them to enroll on that first day?
Yeah, I mean, it's super simple. We call it the paid trial playbook. It's a fancy name, but it's a simple process. It's about a 30-second conversation that literally 9 out of 10, we say 9 out of 10, it's really more like 99 out of 100 people will say yes to, because it's a better offer. So the way it works is you do your intro lesson. This works if you bring people in for a private intro or if you bring them into your class together. Both have sort of equal grounds. So whatever your process is, a new student comes in as a walk-in, let's say, you put them right into class, you do a private lesson. Either way, this process works for that exactly. So the way it works is they come in for the free week. That's what you're advertising. And at the end of the class, you say, hey, I see you're here on the free week. That's great. Little Johnny here can come in his street clothes and participate in class all week. No problem. We also have a different introductory offer, which I think is better. I'll let you decide, Mrs. Smith, what you like better. But this is for a full month for $67. It comes with the free uniform, so little Johnny here feels like part of the class. And that way he gets a little bit longer to try it out. You get the whole month, and he's got the uniform, so he feels like part of the class. That's $67. Whichever one you want to do is fine. If you want to do the free week in street clothes, great. If you want to do the full month for $67 with the free uniform, I'll let you do that too. Which one's better for you? And then you're just quiet. And at that point, they'll process it a little bit. But literally, if you deliver it just like that and you have a good curriculum, and you did a good class and they actually had fun during that class and had a good time, 99% of the people are going to upgrade. And that's not an exaggeration. We see that across the board. If you're doing that part right, it's pretty much everyone will take that better offer. And why would they do that? Because it's a more valuable, better offer, right? They get something tangible to take home. Every kid, every adult, they love having that uniform. Everybody wants to feel like part of the class. So it's simple, it's easy. And what happens there is if you know the numbers on it. So if you've got, let's say on a minimum, you got 50 leads, 45 leads. Let's go with 45. 45 is about the average number of leads you would get if you spent $20 a day on Facebook ads. So let's do the math there. $20 a day over 30 days is about $600. If you got 45 leads out of that, which is what we'd expect on average, some get less, some might get 30, some might get 90. You might be like our buddy that was on the Q&A earlier who has gotten 30 leads in 4 days.
Who was that, by the way, John?
That was Mark Weber, I believe.
Oh, I mean, he just launched. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not to get on a sidetrack, he had an agency that used to do ads for him, and they got his account like banned, and we helped him get things going back again. And then as soon as he turned the switch on, it was going. So I mean, like he came from like I can never advertise on Facebook again because someone broke it for me too. Hey, a bunch of leads. That's awesome. Sorry.
Yeah. It was good. No. So so let's say on average you get 45 leads in a month from spending $600. You spend $600, you get 45 leads. Out of those 45 leads, half of them will never talk to you again. They'll opt in for the ad and they'll just disappear. But the other half will book an appointment within that first 7 days. So now we got let's say 25 appointments on the books. Out of those 25 appointments, half of those are not going to show up, which might be a little bit frustrating to some people because, and maybe you're like, well, this doesn't sound very good at all. But watch where the magic happens. Let's say 12 of those people, let's say 10, only 10 of those people actually show up for their appointment. They'll all sign up for the paid trial. Let's say out of 25, 12 is probably fair. Let's say only 11. And let's say 10 out of 11 sign up for the paid trial, $67. 10 times 67 is $670. You spent 600, you brought 670 in. And now what do you have? You broke even on the ads. That's called the flywheel. And now you've got 10 extremely qualified people on your mats, trying your school, wearing your uniform for a whole month. I mean, if you can't enroll students from that, something else is wrong, right? How many of you guys watching now, if you had 10 people on your mats, wearing your uniform for a month, how many of them would enroll as a student? I'd love to see it in the chat. Let me know in the chat how many out of 10 on your mats, wearing your uniform for a month, enjoying class, how many would sign up? Love to see that in the chat. Let us know. And this is what we've taught to all of our members. So parts of our student magnet group, this is the kind of education they're getting. And it's simple, right? It's not brain surgery. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket surgery, as Frank Kern likes to say. It's simple. It's simple.
Yeah, and I love the simplicity of it all in the fact that you don't need to memorize all these Jedi mind tricks or all these objection handling. Like unfortunately, a lot of things about growing any business is like, oh, here's how you convince someone. Here's how you sell someone. Here's how none of us, most I would imagine watching this, you didn't open your martial arts school to become a salesperson. Right? You wanted to provide value. So this is just extending that value. It's extending an opportunity for someone that's never experienced martial arts before or new to the area or new to the school, a chance to provide value, a chance for your school to generate some income, to grow the school, to better the school. So it just fits into everything that we're already doing anyway. It fits into the identity of why you open your school. So I love the simplicity of it all. I'm curious if anybody has any questions about that process or the process of, okay, how do I get those leads on the mat? How do I get that to happen regularly? I see Jennifer said she could close 7 or 8 of those now. Great. We're seeing some numbers. Erin, I think originally she might've said 2 or 4 or something like that. Now we're up to 8 out of 10. I mean, again, I love the humility here. Honestly, if someone's your branding and they've already paid you money, they're probably going to enroll in your school. They're probably going to stick around. And I think deep down, we all want to say that, but there's also the humility of, well, I don't just want to assume everybody. But again, if people have paid you money, they've been in, and we know that after a couple of weeks of being in a program, they're starting to see the fruit of the labor of being in the program, whether it be they came in because Johnny wasn't disciplined at home. We know 2 weeks in, Johnny's cleaning his room without being asked, right? Or someone's having confidence issues or organizational issues. 2 weeks in, they're seeing the fruits of the labor. They're making friends in your class. So I'm saying a lot of these people are going to stick around long term, which is really awesome. So kind of digging into that, John, I think Dave has a question here. This is kind of turning into Q&A, which is fine with me.
Love it.
How do we target specifically? Dave does have he brought up a couple things, which is great. And I think Aaron had a question about, so how do we use this ad to target people to get them into that paid trial situation?
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to jump back real quick because I love some of the comments here. Aaron said that she'd take 4. Aaron would take 4, 8 out of 10 maybe, but 4 would be great. Here's the good news. If 10 people are on your mats and cost you nothing, even 1 is a profit, right?
Right.
We found actually that about on average, 5 or 6 out of that 10 will actually stick around as long-term, full students. And that's because some will enroll 8 to 10, some will enroll 3 or 4. So, but the average is about half of those, which again, it's all gravy at that point. So awesome. Good. Specifically targeting. So we do what's called broad targeting. Now we're going to get into into the weeds a little bit. I'm going to try and be as non-technical as possible. Basically, we target everyone within a certain radius of your school. And we actually have a formula. So if you want the exact formula we use to figure out how to target people, just leave the word formula in the comments and we'll actually send you our targeting training on that. I'll give it to you for free. No problem. We're here to help. We're going to provide value for you. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to show you we can help you by doing what? Actually helping you. Wow. What a shocking revelation this is, right? So if you want that formula, just type the word formula in the comments. Looks like we got some already. We'll show you exactly how we target. But basically, I'll give it to you in a nutshell. We target a broad audience. We usually target women only because they tend to respond to the ads more than men. I don't know why. I can't tell you the specifics, or I can't tell you that it's inclusive, non-inclusive. All I can tell you is that if I'm going to spend money, I'm going to spend it on women on Facebook because they respond to the ads better than the men. So take from that what you will. We target moms as a starting point. And so the way we do it is we just say, hey, moms. We don't actually go into the targeting and say moms of certain ages. What we found is that the more stipulations, the more targeted you try to get, the harder the algorithm has. What we like to do is we use Facebook's basically artificial intelligence to figure it out for us. We just say, hey, target people in this area, this age. We'll show you how to, if you type the word formula, we'll give you the exact formula that we use on the targeting. But we do that. And then we just say, go find them, Facebook. And then Facebook finds it. And we don't have to put in like interests or life things like different, if they're, because you can go into Facebook and you can say moms or parents of kids between the middle school. But we've just not found that to be very successful or very, it just doesn't work.
Right.
to put
it just doesn't work.
It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. But the other way, the broad targeting, it's brilliant. It works perfectly. And the algorithm does better. And the longer the ad runs, the better it does. And, you make a couple of tweaks every now and then, and that's it. So I love it. We're seeing some people on the formula. We'll get those over to you after the live stream. But,
yeah,
I think a lot of people are probably thinking like, this is great. You're giving me sort of the framework of it, but like how specifically do you do this, right? Maybe people are thinking like, how do I set up the ad? How do I get in? What are the clicks? What are the settings and all this stuff? How do I do this? And then what are those specific systems? Because there's a lot of stuff that happens between somebody responding to the ad and even coming in the door, right? I mean, there's a process there. There's a system. We don't have enough time in a 45-minute to an hour training to just show you all that stuff. And so if you're thinking that, we actually have a bunch of processes and systems built around this thing exactly on how to do this. And we have a very strategic step-by-step plan to carry this stuff out. And if you're wondering how to set up the ad or how to do all this stuff or get to specific, just beyond even the targeting, but like, what's the follow-up look like? What messages do I send? Should I call them? Should I not call them? Should I text them, email them? How do I get a hold of them? We have all that stuff laid out for you in a super simple step-by-step process. And that's what we're here to invite you to do, is just to jump on a game plan call with us. And before you get worried that this is some big sales pitch, The game plan is actually a free call that you cannot buy anything on. It's a 5 to 10 to 15-minute call. And basically, we'll just walk you through a simple game plan. We're really going to ask you some questions first. We want to know where you're at. We want to know what you're struggling with. We want to know maybe a couple of things, maybe some barriers that you're running into in your school. And then if it's something that sounds like it could be a good fit, we can set you up on a more strategy-driven call where we actually will lay out a full strategy for you and show you what it would look like to work with us. But on this 5 to 15-minute call, it's called a game plan call. It's really just for us to kind of get into a conversation and see if it's something that we can do to help you. We only are after success stories. So we won't work with somebody that we don't think will be a success in the program. And really, we've gotten to the point where we know how to fill up our calendars. And so we can have the integrity to go, you know what, this isn't going to be a good fit. Let me point you in the direction of maybe a better solution for you, whatever it might be. Or maybe we've developed, in the last few years, we've been doing this. We've done a ton of phone interviews, and maybe one out of three, Travis, would you say, are just not quite ready or not in the right position. But we can point you into, we've developed these resources that will help you get to the point. So maybe it's not a good fit today. We send you a free resource, you implement that stuff, and then a couple months later, we get back on the phone, and then you're ready to jump into the program. So if you want that call, just type the word game in the comments right now, GAME, and we will get you set up with that free game plan call. And basically what will happen is, you've seen probably some of the success in the group. We do interviews every couple of weeks of some of our school owners that we've been working with. We've got some great ones coming up too, but you can go into our resources and just see like loads and loads of client interviews that we've worked with and the types of impacts we've made. But really, if you just want to know what it's like to work with us, just type the word game in the comments right now, and we'll reach out. Probably Ignacio, who's on our team, will reach out and just ask you a few questions and basically just see what challenges you're running into, what problems you're running into, just to see if our program's a good fit. And if it's not, we'll refer you somewhere else, give you some resources that might work. So go ahead and type the word game in the comments right now, and we'll get you scheduled for that call. And, for me, the most rewarding thing is to watch a school owner build a profitable martial arts legacy, for light bulbs to go off, for mindsets to change, and for circumstances to follow that, to see like, okay, I've changed the way I'm thinking about this, and now look at what's happening. Look what actions I'm taking, and look where it's brought me. Right. And that's just, that's what gets me up and out of bed in the morning on a daily basis.
Yeah, I love these game plans, John, because as you guys see in the comments, Erin, for example, her and I are actually talking this week. She already has done a game plan, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into how we can potentially help or see where she needs to go. But Erin obviously has some issues getting into school. So that's something that we need to kind of navigate and figure out what her strategy is. I think it was David was talking about how he was running ads before, right? These are not, they're similar problems in the same system, but they're individual differences. So that's what that whole game plan is, to kind of figure out, hey, what's going on? What areas need to be tweaked? Can we help you tweak, or can something else help you tweak it? And that's really all this is. And that's why I love the game plans, because it's really just, every time we jump on a game plan, or Ignacio jumps on a game plan, I just imagine in my mind, hey, I'm meeting you for coffee, and I want to learn about your martial arts school. And in my expertise of working with 400 plus schools, hey, what's the best route for you to go? And if that route is us talking over lunch instead of coffee, great. If that route is me connecting you with something else that'll help you out, then that's what we want to do. I truly love the game plans, because it just takes away all that kind of like, hey, what you need to make a decision, or you need to buy something, or anything like that. It's just like, look, let's just talk about your school and see what the heck's going on, and let's get some students in the door. If that's with us, great. If it's with something else, great. Whatever it takes.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's something I love about it too, is that, there's a lot of gurus and agency owners out there that want to get you on the phone just to like hard sell you on that first day, or make you say yes right then and overcome your objections. Like, we don't mess around with any of that stuff. We've got a ton of training in that stuff, and we've been through all that stuff. And, back in the early days, we even tried some of that stuff, to be fully transparent. It just makes you feel icky, right? And I'm sure you can appreciate that. There's so much training out there about like how to overcome objections. And what I found is like, why try to overcome an objection? Why not pull up a chair next to you, look at the objection, and go, is this something? Is this a problem? And if it is, don't say yes. Like we're not in the business of overcoming objections or doing sales or any of that stuff. And we actually will teach you how to do this in your school too. When you bring students in on the mats, there are no objections because the
Right.
process is you're getting decisions at a time when it makes sense to make the decision. And the whole problem with all the sales agency industry and all of the like marketing gurus out there is that they're trying to force people to make decisions when it doesn't make sense for them. And so we'll show you how to do that with your students, but that's how we operate too. We don't want you to make a decision if it doesn't make sense for you. We don't want you to make a yes decision if it doesn't make perfect sense for you. So that's why we do these game plan calls, is to help you see the path to a yes or a no. That's it. And just so you know where our hearts are at too, we only work with schools who have a good curriculum. So if somehow you snuck into this group and you're like some kind of like McDojo where you're just like selling belts and ranking everybody up for no reason, and you're not actually teaching like quality martial arts and quality life lessons. And I know that there's a lot of ranges to that. You know, I'm not saying you have to be like, you know, have this lineage from, you know, the master in Korea or what. I'm like, you don't have to have like craziness, right? But you got to be doing quality instruction. You got to be providing value for your community. You got to be doing a good work. And if you're doing that, then we would love to help you break through some growth barriers. So if you're a school owner, you got great curriculum, you love the community, you're doing the right stuff by your students, then you're in the right place. Type the word game in the comments right now and let us know. So as we're wrapping up, anything, Travis, that you want to add or anything that we need to go over? I think we've had a pretty good session here. Got a lot of comments, which is great. A lot of people looking forward to those game plan calls. We're looking forward to connecting with you guys too. So if you need a strategy on filling up the mats, if you need a strategy on running Facebook ads, if you need a strategy on how to follow up, book appointments, get students on the mats, have long-term students, basically get a return on your investment for your advertising, which is what business is about. If that's what you need and that's what you want, and you're looking to attract the right students, maybe you want to get paid a premium for your quality instruction. Maybe there's a growth barrier. Maybe you hit a ceiling all the time. Been in business 15, 20 years. You hit a number, student enrollments, you drop down. You hit a revenue number, you drop down. Let's help you get through that and make that old ceiling a new floor, right? And if that's what you want, type the word game in the comments right now. And you're just going to get a ton of insight and value. We'll see if you're a good fit. You can see if we're a good fit. So I'm not going to keep harping on it, but if you have if you have a desire to see what it's like to work with us, type the word game in the comments right now. I just want to thank you guys for joining us. It's always great to be here. I love the interaction. We live on the comments. So even if you're watching the replay, feel free to type the word game in the comments as well. We're always watching the comments and answering questions there. And so I hope you got some value out of this. Hope you guys enjoyed this. It's always great to be here. We'll see you here next Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern right here in the group. Have a great day.
All right, guys. See y'all.